watching CVR English News. This is Lana Patel. Welcome to World News. Now let's get into the details. Paris has been rocked by a second consecutive night of rioting following the city's historic win in UEFA Champions League final. What began as a jubilant celebrations quickly descended into chaos, with vehicles tortured, fosters smashed, and clashes between riot police and football fans erupting across several districts. Authorities reported dozens of assaults as they attempted to contain violence around iconic landmarks, including the Champs Elysees, and placed the Allied Republics as emergency services remained on high alert through the night. Celebrations around France for Paris Saint-Germain's historic Champions League history turned violent on Saturday. At least 2 people have died and a police officer is on coma. In a landmark drone offensive, Ukraine's special forces launched over 100 drones from disguised to shipping containers, striking multiple Russian air bases simultaneously. The operation destroyed or damaged 41 aircrafts, including Tu-97 and Tu-22 bombers and A-50 radar planes, about 30% of Russia's bomber fleet. The drones were pre-programmed to launch near targets. Bypassing Russian defenses, the bombers hit were key to long-range missile attacks on Ukraine. Russia media linked the surprise and scale of the strike to Pearl Harbor, underlining its strategic and symbolic impact. Alaskan Russia's coastration shows the aftermath after a devastating overnight UAV drone attack on residential apartment buildings near the Ukraine border. Shattered windows, burnt out balconies and destroyed interiors as seen in the video. With locals recounting the terrifying movement, 3 drones flew overhead, followed by loud explosions. Russian investigators confirmed that building was struck by an unmanaged aerial vehicle. Debris from the drone has been collected for analysis to identify the type of weapon used. Officials report severe injuries, including 2 children, all of whom are receiving medical treatments. District head Andrei Belosi stated the 2 apartments were completely destroyed and multiple others severely damaged. Thankfully, no fatalities were reported. Elsewhere, in the Husk region, drones also struck the village of Artova in the Lauga district, injuring 16 people, including 4 children. The attack comes amid escalating drone warfare between Russia and Ukraine, with both sides accusing both of the intensified UAV operations since Istanbul peace talks on May 16.
Sen de iyice. А у вас 2 двери было, да?
Честно, я ее ищу там.
Сотрудниками Главного военного следственного управления Следственного комитета Российской Федерации в настоящее время производится осмотр последствия обстрела со стороны воинских формирований Украины в городе Рыльске. В результате осмотра установлено, что попадание в данный многоквартирный жилой дом был осуществлен с применением беспилотного летательного аппарата. Все фрагменты будут изъяты и в дальнейшем направлены на экспертизу, точнее конкретного типа и вида снаряда. Кроме того, имеется информация о 7 пострадавших, из них 2 детей. В настоящее время они все доставлены в медицинские учреждения, им оказывается вся необходимая медицинская помощь.
Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky hailed a large-scale drone attack on Russian air bases as a brilliant operation. During his June 1st night addresses, he stated that strike, which involved 117 as drones took over a year and a half to prepare, inflicted significant losses on Russian military assets. The attack targeted only military sites, with Zelensky emphasizing its strategic success.
На території ворога виключно проти військових цілей, проти саме тієї техніки, яка використовувалась в ударах проти України. Дуже відчутні втрати Росії і абсолютно справедливі, заслужені їхні втрати. Дякую Службі безпеки, особисто генералу Малюку, також всім, хто був задіяний в операції. Готували операцію більш ніж 1,5 роки. Планування, організація, всі деталі були ідеально підготовлені. Можна сказати впевнено, що це абсолютно унікальна операція. Найцікавіше, і вже зараз це можна говорити публічно, офіс нашої операції на території Росії знаходився безпосередньо поруч з управлінням ФСБ Росії в одній з їхніх областей. Загалом в операції було використано 117 дронів і відповідна кількість операторів дронів на території ворога виключно проти військових цілей, проти саме тієї техніки, яка використовувалась в ударах проти України. Дуже відчутні втрати Росії і абсолютно справедливі, заслужені їхні втрати. Дякую Службі безпеки, особисто генералу Малюку, також всім, хто був задіяний в операції. Готували операцію більш ніж 1,5 роки. Планування, організація, всі деталі були ідеально підготовлені. Можна сказати впевнено, що це абсолютно унікальна операція. Найцікавіше, і вже зараз це можна говорити публічно, офіс нашої операції на території Росії знаходився безпосередньо поруч з управлінням ФСБ Росії в одній з їхніх областей. Загалом в операції було використано 117 дронів і відповідна кількість операторів дронів на території ворога виключно проти військових цілей, проти саме тієї техніки, яка використовувалась в ударах проти України. Дуже відчутно.
At least 7 people were killed and 69 injured when 2 bridges were blown up in separate Russian regions, bordering Ukraine ahead of planned peace talks amid ending the 3-year-old war in Ukraine, Russia officials said on Sunday. Ukraine's intelligence agencies as well as Ukrainian Persian movements have previously been involved in sabotage attacks on Russian railways, but Kyiv has not commented on the reported direct hit.
Давай, 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 давай.
Karol Naukri, the populist test as populist right opposition candidate, has won Poland's presidential election, defeating his pro-European rival in the close contest. Official results showed Naukri secured 50% as the 89% as 50.89% with Rafael Trosossi as 49.11%. The victory is a significant blow to the coalition government led by Donald Tusk, as is expected to prolong the political deadlock in the country. Given the president's power to veto legislation, the result of the race will have huge implications for the country's political future.
Przyszły prezydent Rzeczypospolitej Polskiej, Karol Nawrocki, ogromne...
Zwyciężymy i ocalimy Polskę. Nie pozwolimy na to, aby domknęła się władza Donalda Tuska i aby monopol władzy złej, władzy, która nie dba o finanse publiczne, władzy, która zabiera nam wielkie marzenia i zabiera nam aspiracje. Aby ten monopol się nie domknął, my w nocy musimy zwyciężyć i wiemy, że tak się stanie.
Przyszły prezydent Rzeczypospolitej Polskiej, Karol Nawrocki, ogromne...
Zwyciężymy i ocalimy Polskę. Nie pozwolimy na to, aby domknęła się władza Donalda Tuska i aby monopol władzy złej, władzy, która nie dba o finanse publiczne, władzy, która zabiera nam wielkie marzenia i zabiera nam aspiracje. Aby ten monopol się nie domknął.
Thousands of demonstrations took to the street of Belgrade once again, calling for snap elections and expressing growing dissatisfaction with the Serbian government. The protesters, now entering their second week, were sparked by allegations of corruption and demands for the greater political accountability. Organized by opposition groups, the marches have drawn support from across the country, intensifying pressure on President Alexander Vucic's administration. Emergency crews are responding to the major fire that broke out in the hospital in Hamburg early Thursday, leaving they lost 3 people dead and dozens injured. Local authorities have confirmed the cause of the blaze remains under investigation. Several patients and staff were evacuated as emergency services worked to control the fire. UK has lost control of its border after a day in which hundreds of migrants are thought to have crossed the English Channel in small boats. Defence Secretary John Healey said the sight of migrants making the dangerous journey to the UK was shocking. Mr. Healey said that loss of control at the border had come over the last 5 years. Meanwhile, The Tories blamed Labour, saying Keir Starmer was failing to grip the problem of small boats crossings. And a shocking attack in Paulal Korolda Mohammed Sabri Saliman targeted a group of people gathered to remember Israel hostages held in Gaza. The assailant, seen in vital footage shooting Free Palestine, used a Molotov cocktail and a makeshift flamethrower to set several individuals on fire, injuring at least 6 people aged between 67 and 88. One's victim is reported to be in serious condition. The incident unfolded near a peaceful walk held in remembrance, sparking horror and emergency response as local police quickly apprehended Solomon. The FBI has labeled the attack as targeted terrorism, highlighting its political and violent nature.
6:30, several people are hurt in Boulder, Colorado, where authorities responded to reports of a man setting people on victims, laying down with small fires burning nearby. This all happened at Boulder's Pearl Street Mall around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Witnesses at the scene told CBS Colorado someone threw Molotov cocktails during a walk to remember Israeli hostages. Police do have a suspect in custody. Multiple injuries are reported, with several people burned and taken to the hospital. FBI Director Kash Patel says agents are on the scene, working hand in hand with local law enforcement. Investigators there in Colorado.
Here, we've taken them to another location to debrief them and interview them. As we do that, I think the picture will become more clear. But it would be irresponsible for me to speculate on motive this early on. We're only a couple hours into this thing.
The attack, several blocks were evacuated. Authorities say they are also investigating a vehicle found at the scene, and the area remains shut down. We are, of course, staying on top of this story. We'll bring you more information. 6:30, several.
Israel continued its military operation in Gaza on Sunday, targeting Hamas position across the region. The Israel Defense Forces confirmed it killed Khalil al-Abbas Nasser Khadipa as Hamas cell commander. It's an air strike on Friday. He was involved in a January 2024 attack that killed 21 IDF soldiers. Meanwhile, Hamas released a statement saying it is ready to begin new indirect talks to reach a ceasefire. The group thanked Qatar and Egypt for their efforts and called for a permanent ceasefire, relief aid and full Israel withdrawal. Israel has not responded yet, but its army chief has ordered more ground operations in southern and north Gaza to pressure Hamas and ensure the return of Israel hostages. During the Jubilee of Families as 2025 at the Vatican, Pope Leo emphasized the traditional Catholic teaching that marriage is the true love between a man and a woman. Addressing thousands of families gathered in St. Peter's Square, the Pope highlighted the importance of faith, commitment and raising children in the love. The remark has sparked reactions globally, with both praising and criticizing. The Vatican event focused on unity, tradition and the sacred role of family in society. More statements from the Pope are expected throughout the Jubilee celebrations.
perché siano perfetti nell'unità e il mondo sappia che il matrimonio non è un ideale.
thousands of worshippers have gathered inside Mecca's Grand Mosque ahead of the annual Hajj pilgrimage on the largest religious gathering in the world. The Hajj, which begins with the coming days, bringing together Muslims from across the globe in the spiritual journey of the faith and unity.
كان معه من إله إذا لذهب كل إله بما خلق ولعلى بعضهم على بعض سبحان الله عما يصفون عالم الغيب والشهادة فتعالى عما يشركون قل رب إما تريني ما يوعدون رب فلا تجعلني في القوم الظالمين وإنا على وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين.
Well, this is the wrap of the world news. For more news updates, stay tuned to CVR English News.